Hey everyone, I hope you're doing okay and welcome to another YouTube video. Right, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I headed up to the Northumberland coast, which is in the northeast part of the UK, and I was in chase of something that I call gold. Now, you photographers out there have probably also used that phrase, and in this context, I was looking for kind of rare stretches of the coastline that hopefully no one else had photographed yet, but more importantly, contained lots and lots of potential for brilliant imagery. So the plan was to scout out some new stretches of the coastline, maybe, one or two what otherwise might look like pretty nondescript locations. And if I found something, I was going to hopefully build a whole series of abstract coastal shots that maybe I could use in a zine or publish as a project on my website or something like that. You get what I mean. But the reality was that, well, things turned out a little differently. And whilst the trip started off unexpectedly with a really, really cool sunset and some reflected light, what then began to follow really, really tested my eye and definitely my patience, and certainly a lot more than I expected. So let's have a look at the video and see how all of that unfolded. Just a kind of word of note, in one or two places I do refer to it as being my first YouTube video. Hopefully you'll have seen I've already put up one or two now, so you can just ignore that. Right, well, without much further ado, let's get into things. Join me up on the Northumberland coast. I've come up here for a few days. I'm going to be staying at a little B&B, and I'm going to be trying to find some new stretches of the coastline where I can shoot some close-up, intimate and abstract rocky kind of stuff. I came up a couple of weeks ago and went to one or two of the more familiar places everyone's probably heard of, Spittal and one or two other places that are fairly nearby, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do a bit of a walk along the coastal path. So in doing so, I stumbled across one or two cracking areas and thought, right, I'm going to go a bit deeper on this, and I opened up OS Maps and used some of the characteristics from where I'd walked down to identify one or two other spots. So over the next few days, I'm going to be going to have a look at those, and fingers crossed I find some more really, really good stuff for the purposes of landscape photography. If I don't, then I'm not sure there'll even be a video, so the joke will be on me, and this first ever video won't even make it to the airways. But fingers crossed I do, and hopefully the next place, or the next time you'll see me, will be in front of some really, really cool stuff to get up close and personal with and make some images. So I'll see you all in a bit. Well folks, I made a quick dash to somewhere I know quite well, and I had a feeling the sunset was going to absolutely kick off, and it is blooming incredible. You can see the red on my face already. There was no way I had anything in mind for a traditional vista shot, so I'm just kind of enjoying the crazy red light and shooting some gorgeous abstracts. They're picking up just a little tinge of this pink, which is really, really nice. It's adding to the colour that's already in the rocks. And yeah, what an end to the first evening here. It just rained as well before I started shooting, and I'll talk about the impact the rain can have on some of this close-up intimate stuff a little bit later on in the video, but it's just brought out all of the colours wonderfully. It was just a passing bit of drizzle, so not too much, enough to just kind of remove any kind of dabs and droplets of rain. It made all of the rock really, really wet, and it's just bringing out all of that luscious vibrance and saturation. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. I mean, gee whiz, not even the end of the first day, and if I just pan you around to this frankly unbelievable sunset in the distance, let me just zoom you in a little bit so you can have a little look at that. What a scene, gorgeous stuff. And the sky is going redder and redder and redder. So yeah, great start to the Northumberland coast. Let's see what the rest of the trip has in store for us. I'll see you all in a bit. Morning folks. I say morning, it's probably more like the afternoon now. It's been a complete washout actually for most of the day so far. A big old storm is rolling across the country and just putting down tons and tons of rain, probably too much rain actually for shooting this abstract kind of stuff. So I've done a bit of exploring. I went to a couple of spots but didn't really find anything. Now fingers crossed, I may be onto something down here, so I'm gonna head down there in a minute and try and get down that rather precipitous path and have a look at all of this rocky stuff down there. It can be a bit misleading from up high. Can look really good, but then when you get down there, you just don't find things. And such is the name of this game. So anyway, let's go down and see what we can find, and hopefully I'll have an image or two to make for you. To be honest, I'm not really sure there's much here actually, sadly, so we would probably live to fight another day. There's a load of this blocky hexagonal stuff down at my feet, but it doesn't really work for the close-up abstracty stuff that I'm after. There's certainly not enough colour here to work with, and it's just the wrong kind of stone. Actually, my geology map is not always the most accurate, it has to be said, as is the way with these things. You've just got to have a little explore, and through trial and error you eventually find something that's good. I've just had a little look at Google Maps actually, and I headed in the wrong direction. So keen was I to get off the rather precipitous path that I was walking down, and although I've got wellies on, I'm probably in the wrong footwear. Wellies don't tend to be as grippy as you need them to be on wetter ground. They're good if you need to walk into rock pools and whatnot, but yeah, bad footwear choice there. So I'm just making my way around to the other side of the headland, and I can see a bit of layered curvy stuff there in the distance. Don't know if you can make it out. It's just beyond there, so I'm gonna have to traverse this stuff here, which yeah, well, we'll see how we go. You've got to be careful when you're walking around this stuff that you can return the way you came. So that kind of that extends to jumping down from rocky bits. You know, will you actually be able to clamber up them again? And of course the tide. So I know the tide is going out now, and I also know that it's not the highs and lows are quite moderate at the minute, so I'm not going to get a whacking great tide sneaking in after I've got to the place of gold and taken loads of photos, cutting me off at the coast. That's just not going to happen. So anyway, let me navigate these rocks, see if I can get over there, and fingers crossed I'll find something. Yeah, this is probably about the most sketchy ground I've ever decided to walk across, but slowly but surely, little baby steps, and you get there in the end. Yeah, this little spot is interesting. Not quite what I was after, but there's definitely some layered stuff here that's shootable if I
if I persevere. There's some lovely different colours and textures and patterns, really quite astonishing. I mean, it's just a beautiful feat of nature, really, the way the layers of rock get peeled away like this. So I might stop to have a little shoot here. I'm certainly going to get the camera around, have a little look at what I can find. I'm just looking kind of over and around the headland, and it just gets progressively murkier and murkier. So this might be the best of it. This is probably what my bit of research on the geology map was showing me. And got about half the day left, so yeah, I'm gonna get the camera out anyway and have a little look through the viewfinder and see if anything takes my fancy. And if I set something up, there's bound to be one or two things here, then maybe I'll have an image for this video. See you in a bit. I'm afraid I'm calling this. I don't really like the form and shapes that I'm seeing. It's weird. It's just a little too uniform in the way all the layers are peeling away, but at the same time it's really kind of quite jaggedy as well. So there isn't that smoothness and variation in some of the swirls and patterns. A lot of it just all looks the same in it. You know, although there's lots of different nice tiers, some lights and darks and lights and darks, along with some reds, greens, yellows, some much darker kind of almost black bits. There's really just no definable features in any of it. It all just looks a little samey. I'm sure there's one shot maybe with all the kind of concentric lines moving into the distance or something like that, but not really quite what I'm looking for, so I'm going to move on. I also had a little explore over there, took a tumble and have slightly bent one of the knobs on my ball head. It still works fine, but I don't like damaging stuff, so I'm a little bit pissed off with this location. I'm going to get out of here before I fall over again and change into some shoes rather than these bloody death trap wellies that for some reason I decided to put on. So we've made it to another stretch of the coast, and I've found some pretty interesting shapes and patterns. I spent a bit of time shooting this one down here, and by the way, you're going to have to forgive me, I left the Osmo up in the car, so I'm doing all of this on the iPhone. It might be a little bit wobbly, but I'm just going to bring you over here and talk you through the shot that I have just been shooting actually. And you can see it up on the screen there. It's quite monotone, but there's some gorgeous sort of undulating swirls and layers in the rocks. And then there's this lovely little rock pool here. I say rock pool, it's not really a rock pool, it's just a little sort of divot in the swirls, and it's got a bit of sand and some stones and I think a bit of seaweed in there. Not placed by me on this occasion, I have to say, but as you move away, you can sort of see the sweeping motion that I think looks rather nice. So if I just talk you through some of the settings and the way I shoot these things, yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm actually I'm having a go shooting this at f11, which is a bit tricky. I am at about, I'm at about 200 millimeters, so maybe I should be shooting f16, but essentially I've been taking a number of focus stacked shots. I usually start at the bottom. I use the focus point that's not quite the pin one, the one up from that, because that allows me to get really close to the edges. And essentially I take kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I repeat that for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers, and then I'll probably press on a couple more points within that where I don't think I've taken a photo of the appropriate depth. So it's as simple as that. I don't actually shoot with a timer because it just becomes a bit of a ball ache to wait when you're shooting kind of 25 frames like that. I shoot with image stabilization on, so and I switch off all of the display. So let's just give it a go, and I'll sort of show you what I do and how I've shot this one anyway. So we kind of tap there, then there, then there, then there, then we go up a bit, etc. I think you get the point, and you've just got to you've got to be really careful that you essentially take a shot focused on all the levels of depth here, and then you give Photoshop the best chance of stacking it all together and creating a nice image for you. I quite like that actually. The light has dropped now and there's a lovely bit of contrast. I have got a polarizer on, but I've left some of the rocks a little shiny actually, because I think it creates quite a nice shimmer, and there's a sort of goldy pewter tone in there as well. And I'll bring out those oranges in the sand in that little pool there, and yeah, that's the shot. And if it comes out nicely when I processed it, I'll pop it up on screen in a moment.
Whilst at the time while I was out there, I was kind of pleased to have just found something to shoot. With a bit of hindsight, I'm not really sure this image will make it into a portfolio. It's just a bit too simplistic and hasn't really got enough going on to hold the viewer's attention beyond more than a few seconds. So just a record shot on this occasion, I think, and sometimes that's okay. That's just the roll of the dice. So that's where I'll leave it for now. It was a beautiful start, a bit of a false dawn maybe, and then a day that just didn't quite go according to plan. But that's photography, isn't it? Some days the landscape gives you everything, and others it really just makes you work for it. So next week I'll pick the story back up for the final part of this trip, heading back out to see if I can finally bring it all together. Hope you can join me for that one, and I'll see you all again soon.